Thank you again to everyone for connecting. I can see some names popping up on the screen. We have now 17 attendees and 10 connected on Kahoot. I'm gonna give 1 minute more before getting started. As I was mentioning, there are 3 different ways you can connect in this session. You can use the QR code on the screen, or you can go on kahoot.it and introduce the game pin 3962, or you can also go on your Kahoot app in case you have it on your mobile and do exactly the same. Go in there and use the 3962 game pin. So we have 13 people already connected into our Kahoot. So I'm gonna start in 30 seconds explanation. Again, the 3 different ways to connect are the QR code on the screen, or going into kahoot.it 3962, or in the Kahoot app 3962. Okay, great. So I can see around 20 people already connected. So let me get started with the settings. So as I was mentioning before, everyone is living now the student experience. So basically you are using your mobile or maybe your laptop, and you are connecting on this session as a student. And today I am the teacher, okay? I am playing probably the role you will play in the coming weeks with your students in your classes. You see that it's so easy connecting on Kahoot. You just need your mobile, you just need a laptop, and you just need maybe your app, the Kahoot app. But now it's time to explain you some of the settings you can do as a teacher when launching this Kahoot. On the right side, on the right-hand side of the screen, here we have a wheel, and this wheel is the wheel of the settings. Here, before any session, you can adjust the settings according to your objectives. So for me, there are some settings that are very relevant, and I will start explaining them. The first one is show questions and answers. So basically, once you play Kahoot, you will use your device, and on the screen, I can choose if you can see the questions and answers, or if you are only going to see the colors. My recommendation to you all is that you always activate this option, because it is very easy as a player to read all the information, not only on the main screen, that is the one we are using now, but also on your devices. Then, player identifier. In case you need to identify who is behind the nicknames you are already using, you have to activate this option. And according to the configuration that your university gives to this option, maybe an email or a student number will be required. Then characters. I want to make this session fun. I have activated the characters. By the way, you can now edit those characters and you can play with them while you are on the lobby. Here we have some options like language, lovely music. I love the original lovely music. It's the one that I always play. And then we have these 2 options, nickname generator and 2-step join. What is this about? So these are our security and privacy options. Nickname generator, it's basically the way of making sure that there is a name we don't want to see on the screen. So in this case, what you do is you ask Kahoot to propose some predefined names, and students are gonna connect with them. So a student won't be able to choose the nickname on the screen. And then we have the 2-step join that basically is an additional security measure in order to protect that players that haven't been invited into today's session can connect. I'm gonna start sharing 1 second, and I'm gonna start sharing again because I want to make sure that the sound has been shared, because I have the impression it was not, and it's not very nice to play a Kahoot with our music. So now that I have 14 students already connected, I'm gonna click on start, and now is when the action gets started. Welcome again, and let's start. Okay, so today's webinar, it's called Elevate Instruction with Kahoot. And this is a basic webinar about how to use Kahoot, how to create Kahoots, how to host Kahoot. So I don't expect everyone to become an expert. Maybe we already have some experts today, but this is a basic webinar. I know there will be a lot of information. It is a very intense hour. So at the end, I will share with your team the recording. You can play the recording as many times as you wish. There are also other training resources. I will also show them during the session. And of course, if there are questions, you can use the chat and I will try to answer them at the end of the session. If we don't have the time, I will share the answers with your team and I will answer to them. So before seeing all the content, the amazing content we have today, I would like to start introducing myself. My name is Fernando. I am based in Copenhagen office here in Denmark. However, Kahoot is not a Danish company, it's a Norwegian one. And I work with different clients across the globe, from Europe to Asia. And it is so good to be here and working with a university like yours, with Chiang Mai. By the way, I am seeing some reactions. That's great. I see that some of you are already familiar with these reactions that are appearing on the screen. So, of course, this is also the way for me to see how engaged you are, since I cannot see you because I am only seeing the presentation. So, thank you so much for all these reactions. So, this is today's agenda. We will start with an introduction of what is Kahoot about. I will also explain you what are the different use cases. We will go into the platform and I will play a demo. I think this is probably the most relevant part of the session because it's the way you will see how you can create a Kahoot, how you can host a Kahoot, how you can assign a Kahoot, and how you also can go on the reporting. And then we will finish with conclusions. And if there is time, I will answer your questions in the chat. Um, what is Kahoot about? We could define Kahoot as a game-based learning. I know that Kahoot is very popular because of the quiz and the questions and the answers and the excitement and the points. But Kahoot is not only that. Kahoot is not only a quiz. Kahoot is much more than this. Kahoot is an interactive learning solution. So we are encouraging our students to be more proactive in the classes, to participate more, to also get excited about the new content or reviewing the content. And we have evolved into a presentation solution. So this is not only a quiz. I will show you that within Kahoot, you can also create courses, you can also create presentations, and much more. And there are many different documents and research that prove the positive impact of using Kahoot in the classes. Mainly, when I talk about positive impact, I'm referring to higher attendance, lower anxiety, higher engagement, much more motivation. So we have seen that in most of the cases, Kahoot plays a very positive effect into your sessions. By the way, there are different researches. You will have access to them at the end of the session, are the ones on the link. And of course, as I was mentioning before, Kahoot is very popular because of the quiz. And how do we build a quiz? We do it by using questions, right? So in Kahoot, there are two types of questions. There are questions for collecting feedback, opinions, understanding how people are feeling, doing icebreakers. And then we have questions in order to evaluate the knowledge. And these questions is the questions where we give points or not. So I'm going to start showing you the questions. And I think the best way to show you the questions is by playing. So take your mobiles with you and I will start asking some of the questions on the screen. The first questions are without points, okay? It doesn't mean they are not important because I want to know you better, but the next questions will be the ones with points, and I know people will get probably more excited about that. So let's get started with one question type, and this is the scale. So here I'm asking you how confident you feel hosting Kahoots. So from 1 to 5, all this scale can be edited. We can change the names, we can change the numbers, then how big is the scale. And of course, everyone is now playing a Kahoot, but I'm not sure if everyone already hosted one Kahoot or knows how to host a Kahoot. Once I gather all the opinions, I can decide if I want to show the answers or if I want to skip the answers. I don't have any problem about showing answers, but sometimes maybe you decide in your classes that you want to keep with you your answers and you don't want to show them to your students. I'm gonna show them, and what we are gonna see is that we have some experts. Wow, the level is quite high today. So we have 7% of you that probably don't have any experience hosting Kahoots. And then we have an impressive 36% of people that feel very confident. Okay, I know. I hope that you can get some value from today's session. Thank you so much for your answers. And then we will go with a poll. This poll can be also edited. I can choose to put up to 6 answers. It could be a very simple one of only 2. Here I want to know how often do you use Kahoot. What I mean with do you use Kahoot doesn't mean necessarily as a host, can also be as a student. So let's see, we have different options. And I can see that 44% rarely, 31% at least once a month, and only 19% I have never used it. That's also an impressive number. So let's go with the next one. It's one of my favorites one. It's a drop in. So here on the screen, you have different colors. I try to include all the colors, but I think I don't have, for example, black. I hope black is not one of your favorites. However, what I want here is, as I was mentioning before, collecting opinions. The way you answer this question is dropping your pin and placing the pin in the part of the screen that corresponds to your answer. And you will see that all the questions have a time limit, that it can also be edited. Okay, great. We see a variety of answers. Probably blue is the most popular. So, perfect. Let's continue with another question type. And that one is the word cloud. So, what country would you like to visit next? If possible, try to answer in English, because for me it will be also easy to understand, but if you want to answer in Thai, it's fine. I just want you to experience all the different question types. And here what I'm doing is collecting opinions and gathering, in this case, short answers. So, what country would you like to visit next? That's today's question. We have 16 answers. 10 seconds more. 17. Don't be shy. I hope I can see Spain in one of the answers. That will make me so excited. Let me see. Finland, China. Wow. The UK, Denmark, Japan, the US, New Zealand, India, Germany. A lot of different answers, but I think we have a favorite because Japan looks to be the biggest option. So the more answers are in this case on the responses, the bigger it appears on the screen. Of course, the UK has also 2, and the US also had in this case 2. So maybe UK, US, and Japan. If you are not sure about what is the most popular destination, I will show you that during the session there is a report that has been already created, and we can go there and we can make our numbers. So don't worry. So, as you can see, I have played some different questions. None of these questions had points. So I just wanted to understand you. I just wanted to see what is your next destination. what is your favorite color, and how familiar you are with Kahoot. And one of the good news I have for you all is that your university has provided you licenses, and those licenses give you access to all of our question types. So all of the ones appearing on the screen, you will get access to them. We will be using, I would say, I think all of these ones today. So don't worry, you will experience all of them. The most popular are, of course, the poll. That is the one where you choose among different answers. What's your favorite one? We have some new question types when it comes to giving a score into a session, like the scale and the NPS. And for me, one of my favorites one is the drop pin, the one we use for the colors, and also the brainstorm that I will show you at the end. That one is very, very good. Cool. Let's change and let's talk about where is Kahoot from? And you remember that we used this drop pin before, but before there was no correct or wrong because I was asking you about your favorite color. But here there are points behind. So you have the map of Europe, and then you have to choose where is Kahoot from. I gave that information at the beginning, and the answer is not Denmark. Okay, I am based in Denmark. I am originally from Spain. Spain is not the answer either. So let's see how many of you paid attention. Maybe I say that too fast at the beginning because only one person got the correct answer. So Kahoot is originally from Norway. And I see a lot of answers in the north of Europe. But yes, only one person got the correct answer, and only one person will get points today. So let's click on next and let's reveal who is leading. So we already have a winner after this first question, and it's Co. So let's go into the second question type. We have a puzzle, and I want you to put in order different historical events of Thailand. I always try to adapt my sessions and my Kahoot to the audience. I assume that some of you are good in history. For me, I have to confess that I wouldn't answer correctly this one. So we have 4 events: the establishment of the Ayutthaya Kingdom, founding of the Sukhothai Kingdom, the founding of the capital, the fall of Ayutthaya to the Burmese. We can put them in order, and once we have the correct order, we click on next, and your answers will be submitted. So let's see how many of you have this score correct. I'm gonna give only 6 more seconds because I gave 1 minute and I think this is too much. So 3, 2, 1. Click on skip. Let's see. Wow, that's great. We have people that are very talented in history. So, yes, we have 12 people answering correctly and 6 people that maybe made some, maybe small mistakes. I'm not sure about that. So let's click on next and let's reveal if there are changes on the classification. We still have Co in the first position, and now we see that Wu and PT, they also are on the podium. By the way, one of the things about our scoring is that we give a maximum of 1000 points per correct answer. This can also be edited. I will show you how to edit the point system. The faster you answer, the more points you receive. So let's click on next and let's experience one of my favorite question types, that is the slider. And I want you to tell me, out of the 500 global top universities, what percent, okay, it's not the total, what percentage uses Kahoot? And the percentage is high, okay? This is the tip. Don't be conservative in the answer. So from 0 to 100, how much is the percentage? So the correct answer is 97. We didn't have anyone answering the correct answer, but we have, for example, a 100 that will get more points than the person answering 90%. So let's see how this have an impact into the classification. So we still have Ko leading, but Vasan and Angie are now very close to him or to her. So next question, it is true or false, and this is one of the most popular ones we have on the platform. Thailand is the only country in Southeast Asia that European power has never colonized. Is that correct? Is that false? Okay, so 10 seconds more. Great. Everyone knew this one? Yes. Thailand, or previously called Siam, is the only country in Southeast Asia never colonized. Great. So here everyone got points, but we see that there are no big changes in the classification in the scoreboard. And then a quiz. And I didn't explain this to you, but I want you to guess it, okay? If in the future you have questions on Kahoot, which of these alternatives can you use? Do you think we maybe have a Thursday office hours? Do we have webinars? Do you have an amazing team in your university in charge of this project that can help you with the questions? Do we have a help and support center? Do we maybe receive text messages? Or do we have a teacher community and you can choose as many answers as you think are correct? So I can see that, yeah, most of you got the correct answers. We have webinars. We have a support center. We also have a teacher community. I will show you these two options during the demo. And of course, you have an amazing team at university in charge of this project. So let's see if there are changes in the classification. Wow, there are big changes. We have Angie now leading, Coconut in the second position, and Ko, it's now in the third one. And then we have New Jeans that has, in this case, made a very good series of correct answers. So let's continue with the quiz, and this is double points, okay? What language can you hear?
Chào mừng bạn đến với phiên Kahoot hôm nay. Chào mừng bạn đến với phiên Kahoot hôm nay.
This is one of my favorite ones, especially if you teach languages, right?
Chào mừng bạn đến với phiên Kahoot hôm nay.
We have 4 languages on the screen: Vietnamese, Tagalog, Chinese, and Korean. And yes, most of you recognize that the language is Vietnamese. Great. Are there changes? Yes, we have Coconut now in the first position and Ko is back into the second one. Cool. So, as you can see, there are many different question types. We experience most of them. Once you create the question types, you will see that it is so easy, first of all, to create them. Then you will have access to millions of images. And also there are a lot of options, such as customizing the point system, the time. Also, you can choose the option to reveal the image. So we will see them in the demo. But thank you so much for your participation. Okay, so we have seen that we have questions for gathering and collecting opinion. And then we have also questions for, let's say, testing the knowledge. So now the question is, when should I use Kahoot with my students? So there is no like a magic formula. It depends on you. It depends on your methodology. It depends on when you want to use it. But I just want you to know that Kahoot can be used in many different moments. So it can be used for reviewing content that you have already presented in the past. It can also be good for starting an icebreaker or maybe doing a reward. Also for introducing new content and preparing your students for that, or for assigning homework out of the classes. I will show you how you can easily assign these Kahoots to your students. Basically, at the end, Kahoot is an ally in your classes, and it is a very good way to improve the experience of training and development in your classes. So now that we have seen together all the question types, I want you to give you the good news that your university has made an investment in our most complete solution. And with these licenses, you will be able to create Kahoots, as I already created, to host them live, as I am already doing. I am already hosting live these Kahoots. You will be also able to assign these Kahoots to your student, because sometimes we want our students to do them out of the classes. And of course, we will have access to reporting, and we will see that on the demo. Important thing here is that, as you are seeing, I am using Kahoot not only for the quiz, that the quiz is of course a very relevant part of my presentation, but I am also presenting content. So I will also show you how you can easily integrate Kahoot with Google, with PowerPoint, and how easy you can build your presentations and use Kahoot for presenting them in your classes. So one of the things that make the experience of creating, presenting easier is our artificial intelligence generator. So I will show you in the demo that now you can easily create Kahoots with our AI options. So you can easily include a PDF, and that PDF can be the material used by Kahoot for creating a quiz. You can easily create questions from Wikipedia, from sentences, from words, from different URLs. We will see them in the demo. And another thing is that today you all are playing from your devices and we all are competing, okay? But sometimes we want to encourage our students to collaborate, and for that reason, we have different game modes. So now we are playing the classic game mode, but there are team game modes, and there is also a new mode that is called the lecture mode. Lecture mode, I will show you as well how you can play it, but in a nutshell, it is doing the same we are doing now, but in a more formal version. So sometimes we want to play Kahoot, we want to present content, but we want to make it a bit more formal. And for that reason, we also have this new lecture mode. Then, when we create Kahoots, we can, of course, play them live, as I am doing now with you, or we can assign them. I will show you how easy it is to assign these Kahoots and how much you can also edit these assignments and then keep an eye on the progress of your students in our reporting option. And of course, we like numbers, and numbers are important, especially when we want to keep the track and to see the progress of our students. So our reporting option, it is available every time you run a Kahoot. It doesn't matter if it is a live Kahoot like this one or if it is an assignment. I will show you as well that in that reporting you will get access to how much people got the correct answer, who struggle a bit more with the answers, and you will get also the option to combine reports or to download these reports into Excel files. So I am promising you a lot of things, and you probably want to see them live, right? So let's go into the platform. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen, and I'm gonna change now to my Kahoot session. Great. I'm gonna stop sharing 1 second, and I'm gonna share again because I want to make sure that everything is correctly shared. Great. So we are now back in our Kahoot platform. The first thing I will start explaining here it is this. So once you connect on your session, you will see that you already have two different spaces. You have your private workspace and you have the team workspace. Okay, what is the main difference of these two spaces? So the private workspace belongs to you. If in the future, for any reason, Chiang Mai University doesn't give you a license or you don't continue working in that university, whatever it can happen, you will always keep this space. This space is connected to your email and everything here belongs to you. Okay, the good news for everyone is that now your university is providing EDU Pro licenses. So you will all have access here in a team workspace. Probably it has a different naming. And in this team workspace, you get access to all the premium features of Kahoot. And on top of that, you get access as well into collaboration spaces, in this case, the library. I will talk about library in a couple of minutes, but before that, I want you to know some of the main options and menus we have on the left-hand side of the screen. So here we have the help option. In your day-to-day, maybe you have questions and you need answers, right? So you can look for these answers on this searcher. So one of the things I won't cover today because it's very advanced is groups. So just in case you want to know more about what is groups, you click here, groups, and you will have access to different articles explaining you what is groups. In case you have, let's say, an issue or you want to raise a ticket or a case to our technical support team, you have to click on Go to Help and Support Center. And once you are here, of course, you will get access to all the articles I was mentioning before in this searcher. But at the same time, here we have the Contact Us. If we click here, a form will be open and we provide answer in 48, 72 working hours. So this is the, let's say, easiest way to get a solution and an answer in case you don't find information on the articles. There is also this community that I really encourage you to explore because in community you will get access to different questions from other professionals, other teachers, more in the perspective of sharing or asking for best practices. So if you click there, you will get access to our EDU community. Great. Let's move back on the library. And here we have the what's new. Here you will be able to double check the latest features on the platform. Then we have our reports. That is something that I mentioned before, that it is automatically created once you run a Kahoot. And this is the evidence of that. Today's session, let's get started with Kahoot, University of Chiang Mai. If I click here, I can already see that I have all the players, I have the correct answers, how many answers have been unanswered. Those are the ones we didn't play yet, okay, don't worry. And how good was the performance of students in each of the answers. Also, these reportings that are automatically created can be downloaded. Great. Here we have different options: Marketplace, Access Pass. This is in case you want to buy content, you want to buy Kahoots. But if you don't want to buy Kahoots and you want to look for prepared Kahoots out of your university, you will have to click on Discover. And here, let's say, for example, we want to see Kahoots around Vietnam. If I click Vietnam, I go on the filter, I choose the language. It is English by now, and we have all these Kahoots that can be played. If I want to make sure that these Kahoots are free, I click on free content and I will have access to the materials that are available for free on the solution. Great. I know it's a lot of information. I'm trying to go slow. now we are gonna go to probably one of the most relevant sections of the platform, and the reason why using this team workspace makes a lot of sense. So in team workspace, remember, this is the area where we collaborate with our university colleagues. If I click here and if I go on the library, I will have access to everyone's Kahoot. Great. Within the library, there are two different sections. We have your folders and organizations folders. What is the difference of these two options? Your folders is the place where you save the Kahoot materials you don't want to share with the rest of your colleagues. So here I have two Kahoots about myself and one about cuisine, Italian cuisine. And then in organizations folders, we have access to everyone's Kahoot that have been, let's say, shared. So here you will see who was the creator of these Kahoots and different collaboration options available on these three dots. Okay, so this amazing Kahoot about solar system, in Spanish, el sistema solar, it can be, if I want, it can be hosted, it can be assigned, because Fernando was very nice and he put it in this organizations folder. Fernando also has locked the content. Why? Because Fernando doesn't want anyone to make changes in this content. Of course, I can make the changes because I was the one creating the content. I am the same Fernando Spain HE. So if I click here on edit, I will be able to edit. But if any other person in my university want to make changes to this file, that person won't be able to do so because the content has been locked. How do you lock or unlock content? You go on the three dots and you lock and unlock it. Of course, you can only lock your content. You cannot lock any other content that is not your property. So you can also duplicate the content. So let's suppose that I am not Fernando, I am Juan, I am Peter, and I want to use this solar system Kahoot, and Fernando does not allow me to edit it. Okay, I click in duplicate. Now I get a duplicate of this content that I can make changes in. I can also move the content, and I can only move the content that I previously created. If I click here and move, I can move this content in the organization folders, in my folders, or also in my private workspace. As I was saying before, you can only move your content. You cannot move others people's content. Great. So I can, of course, delete my content, and I can also share my content. Talking about sharing, everything here, it's here because I want people to get access. But let's suppose that this solar system Kahoot that you can see here, I don't want to share it with all my colleagues. So if I go here on settings, I make this content unlisted. When I make this content unlisted and I save it, I take the link, and only the person receiving this link will be able to see this Kahoot. So even if it's in a public workspace, if I make this content unlisted, other people won't be able to see that on the organization folder, and I can share that link to the person I want to collaborate with. Those are the collaborative options. And now let's go to the create. If I click here on create, you can create Kahoots, stories, and courses. We don't have too much time today for going into detail about stories and courses, but of course, Kahoots, it's basic, right? So let's go into create a Kahoot. If I click in creating Kahoot, there are different options to get started with. So I can go from scratch, clicking on black canvas. That means I go here, I type my first question. What's the capital of Thailand? Here I put my answers. I put Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, um, Hanoi. Okay, I don't want to include more answers. I put which one is the correct one. I can edit the time limit, the system of points, double points, standard, no points. I can also go on themes, and here I can choose among the themes proposed by Kahoot, like this one. The ones I have previously created. I'm sorry, I am a Pokemon fan, so that I have also this one. Or the ones that have been provided by my university. Okay, in this case has the name of EDU Pro themes. This is the name of my contract. So templates provided by university, templates you have previously created, or templates provided by Kahoot. Then if I click in insert media here, I get access to all the different media resources. So I can go into images, I can go into GIFs, videos, audio, or I can also upload media from my desktop, for example. Great. As you can see, when you create questions, Kahoot is gonna propose you images that match with the content of the question. So I choose this one, and that's all. Great. I can go here and save. If I save it, a Kahoot will be created, but I'm not very happy with this Kahoot. Now it's a draft. I delete this draft and I'm gonna create a different one because I want to show you the artificial intelligence. I go back on create, I click on create, and now let's go with these options. So the first one I'm gonna use is the Kahoot generator. So I'm gonna upload a file, and I was trying to think about a topic that could be, let's say, typical or nice for my audience. I choose cats, and in this case, Siamese cats. So I have uploaded a document, 2 pages, and I'm gonna create a Kahoot from these 2 pages. These 2 pages are about Siamese cats, and now Kahoot is giving me questions from this document. So I can adapt the level of difficulty of these questions. I can also change the language. I can also change the tone of voice, or I can also change the number of questions I want to get from Kahoot. If I am happy with some of the questions, I'm gonna add them into my Kahoot. And once I am done, I go on done, and I have here the 4 questions. Of course, I can change the order of the questions, and I can add new questions. I can add them, let's say, creating them from scratch, like I was doing before, choosing the question type, or I can use again the artificial intelligence. Okay, so now I'm gonna go into a topic, and I'm gonna put again Siamese cat. Okay, now we have more questions about Siamese cat, and great. You will see that when we use our artificial intelligence, most of the times the question types we see are the true and false and the multi-select. Sometimes we can see other question types, of course, but most of the cases you will see these 2 types. So that's a good reason for maybe creating a manual one and using another one, like for example, pin answer, etc. Great. We have our questions. But I was saying before at the beginning of my presentation that Kahoot is not only a quiz. And I want to make a big explanation about the Siamese cats and before going into the questions. So for that reason, I can create a slide. If I click here and add a slide, I can create a slide using Kahoot's format. Or I can also import a presentation that I maybe have on my laptop in PDF format, in PowerPoint, or in Keynote. But one of the most cool things we have now is this sync with Google Slides or with your PowerPoint. If I click here, I have to connect into my Gmail, of course. And here I choose the file and I import the image or the slide, in this case, that is more relevant for me, that is this one. I click here in add, and you will see that there is a slide that it can also be placed whatever I want. I realized that this text in Thai doesn't make a lot of sense. First of all, because the content, you probably know that it doesn't make sense. And secondly, because I want to use English in my presentation. So I go into the original file that is here, and I put it again, Siamese cat. I make sure the changes are reflected. And once I move back to create Kahoot, I click on this update option. You update only this slide. And now we see that the changes on the original presentation are reflected as well here on this one. Great. Let's suppose that instead of one slide, I have included a ton of slides, 20 slides. I am happy with my presentation. And then at the end, I am creating this beautiful Kahoot. And then I click in Save. Once I click in Save, my Kahoot has been built. Kahoot has given by default one name to this Kahoot that it can of course be edited or renamed here. And now is when I can decide if I want to play this Kahoot with my students in the class. For that, I click on Host Live. If I click on Host Live, I have access to the different game modes. Here we have the classic one, that is the one you are already using with me. Now we have some, let's say, customized game modes according to the period of the year. Now we have the Lunar New Year mode. Then we have the team mode, that is the one for creating teams within your class. And then the lecture mode, that is the one I was mentioning before, that is a bit more formal. If I click on Start, the lobby will appear with a QR code and you will connect. I don't want you to do that because I want you to stay in your current Kahoot. Here you can also decide to assign this Kahoot. If I click in Assign, I can assign this as a task. I can choose to set a deadline. I can choose, in this case, different options. For me, this one is very relevant, the randomized answer order, because sometimes we know students, they exchange the answers. And once I click into Share, this moves me to reports because a new report has been created all about CME's cat. And this homework is going to be shared with my students. How can I share it? I can easily share it through sharing the QR code that I should download and then send it by email, or sharing with my students by email or in the intranet, wherever you decide, the game pin in case that they are familiar with the app, or the URL. Once you want to end this task, you can click here in End Now in case you didn't put any end date. You can also change the deadline in case the deadline you initially put it's not the one you want. And you at the end will be able to share the podium and also to download the report. So this is basically the way we assign Kahoots. And then today we have a lot of things, but I want you to read about these other two options. Stories are pieces of content that we can create within the platform. And courses is the combination of Kahoots, stories, documents, videos, etc. If I click here, we have a creator guide. I recommend you to have a look for creating something like this. I have created this Kahoot about Italian cuisine. I can click here on Start and you will see all the screen with a course with, in this case, voices, content, images, videos, and different modules, and then a Kahoot. Great. This is the demo for today. I know it's a lot of content. I'm completely aware of that. Remember, if you click on help, you will get answer to questions. You have also the form, and we still have 10 minutes more for finishing our Kahoot. And if there is time, I will also go into your questions. So let me go back into our Kahoot. Great. Let's click on next. And I want you, what question type are you looking forward to use? Remember, we had different question types. And I'm gonna stop sharing 1 second. You can, in the meantime, answer in your mobile because I think I didn't share the sound, and sound is important. Yes, great. So now on the screen, you should now be able to see all the different answers, pin and scale, poll, word cloud. Great. So this is the brainstorm. How do you find the session? I love this one. Of course, I'm asking now a very basic question, but let's suppose we want to collect ideas from our students. They will appear on the screen. And one of the things I love the most about this one is that then students, they can vote for the most popular question. Sorry, answer. So I will show you the whole experience. Now you provide me answers, and then we will vote for the answers. Great. Here we have all the ideas. Ideas are grouped by Kahoot. Great. Thank you so much for your comments. And now if I click in start voting, now I'm not gonna give you 59 seconds, I promise. I'm gonna give you just 20 seconds, but I just want you to experience how it works. So the votes will decide what of the answers is the most popular. And the 3 most popular answers will give extra points to the people giving those answers. So it's also a very fun way to encourage our students to give good answers. I'm gonna stop voting in 3, 2, 1. Great. Let's see what are the most popular answers. So really fun and full of engagement to follow. Thank you so much for this one with 5 points. Interesting. Yes. Fun. And great job. Wow, thank you very much. And the good news for the ones giving the most popular answers is that you will get points here in the scoreboard. So let's see how much this has an impact. So Ko is now leading. Congrats, Ko. And we have Pa now scaling up to the 5th position. So let's go next. And here is the NPS scale. Did you enjoy today's session? So you can vote from 0 to 10. 0 if you found the session terrible, 10 if you love it. And one of the good things of this kind of questions is that I can decide if I want to show the answers or not. Especially sometimes we are afraid of seeing the answers on the screen. I'm gonna show the answers. So here you have the answers. Thank you very much for that good score. And if I click on next, we have a type answer. And this is double points. Where I am from, the one that is speaking, okay? I am from a country, and it's not Norway, it's not Denmark, and it's in Europe. And I said that at the beginning, but I think I say that too fast. So this question has double point. That's why it's important. Perfect. 4 people got the correct answer. But one of the things I like a lot about this one is that if I click on review answers, let's say that I want to give Barcelona as valid. That is not the case. I click here and it will go into the correct answers. Okay. So yeah, no correct answers. So I click on cancel. Now I go into next. And here we have the podium. So let's see. 3rd position for Ravis. 2nd position for Cotsworth. And who won today? Wow, cool. At the end, Lean and Coconut also in very good performance. Thank you so much for your participation, your engagement. I will have a look now into the questions on the chat. I'm gonna stop sharing this screen. So here we have, can we explore any quiz from EDU Pro account to personal account? Okay, so basically what you can do, and I'm gonna go on the screen again. Let me show it to you. Stop this. So basically, once you are in your Kahoot account library here, let's say that you created this Kahoot all about Siamese cats. Of course, you can share it, and you can share it externally to people through, for example, email. You can also move the content as we saw before. I click here in move. I can move it to my folders, and I can move it as well to my private workspace. But remember, keep in mind, you can only move the content that you created. Okay? Now it's here. So I hope I was able to answer your question. I think there are not more questions on the chat. Barcelona is a very beautiful city in Spain, but I am originally from the capital, from Madrid. That's why I didn't give the answer as correct. So I will share the data with your team and also the recording, and we will keep an eye on your usage. I hope you all learned something new, even if I know the audience was very, let's say, senior on Kahoot, most of you. So thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Okay? Thank you. Bye-bye.